What's up? This is Patrick. Welcome to episode 42 of the Double ETF podcast, Everything Except the Football. I hope you guys are doing great. Today, it is the same deal as the two previous times. We talk TV, movies, and trailers, as well as an extra question with Nick Bambach and John Mutford. Good times, plenty of good recommendations, plenty of laughs, and maybe some spicy language, maybe a little more than usual, so you've been warned. I hope you enjoy. If you want to drop us a review, you can do so wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also drop us a line on Twitter at EETFpod or by email at eetfpodcast@gmail.com. And as usual, thank you to the members of the Awesome Club. You know who you are. That's it. Also, for the next few weeks, I will be in Europe, so I will try and keep recording interesting stuff, and hopefully you enjoy that as well. So that's it. Thanks. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to episode 42 of the Double ETF podcast with my returning guest. I hope you know them by now. First, Nick Bambach. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing great. How are you, Patrick?
All right, doing all right. And John Mutford, how are you, sir?
I'm great. I begged and pleaded to come back on your show, and you let me back in, so thank you.
Yes. But as a librarian, I had to get John's, to come back on the show. So librarians always help each other out.
Yeah, you put in a good word for John.
I had to shush him, though, so, I'm kidding. We love John.
It is what it is. And me being a Canadian, I'm nice. So, I gave John a second chance.
I said sorry like a million times.
Yeah, that's how nice we are.
Oh, I'm not nice. I'm from New York, so it's the opposite.
Yeah, we have to compensate, bring everything into balance.
We were afraid you were going to shoot us, so that's why we invited you back.
Or, insult us to death or something. Call us douchebags until we keel over. Okay, so I hope you guys are having a good day or week or month. This episode will be same deal as last time, what we watched, TV, movies, and we have some trailers as well, and some other stuff as well. And we have another question too. Let's start with movies. We will start with Nick this time. What do you have?
So the first movie that I wanted to talk about was Bergman Island. Have you guys seen that movie?
I have not.
Yeah, that sounds like a shitty asylum production. Is that it?
It relates to the filmmaker Ingmar Bergman. Like, he was a very famous Swedish filmmaker. He directed The Seventh Seal and Cries of Whispers and Fanning Out.
I thought you were saying Birdman, like
yeah,
BIRD.
So did I. I was like, this is like some shitty Alien versus Predator-ish.
Oh, Ingmar Bergman should have done an Alien versus Predator movie, because that would be everything.
Oh,
honestly.
wow. Okay, so yeah, this is off the rails, like 2 minutes in. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm out of here. No, I'm kidding. So I watched this movie called Bergman Island, and it stars Tim Roth. And I forget her name, but it's Mia something. She was in the Alice in Wonderland movie with Tim Burton. And
Polish last name, I think.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
That's her. So it's about like this married couple who are filmmakers, and they go to the island that the famous filmmaker Ingmar Bergman lived, and they go make a movie, and then they kind of have marital problems, and they're also trying to make a movie, and they're inspired by Ingmar Bergman's work. And just for listeners, he's one of the most famous international filmmakers ever. He did so many classics, and his movies often deal with themes of like religion and identity and isolation. And he's the most uplifting filmmaker from my description. No, I'm kidding. He's very, very important filmmaker. And it was on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, it's streaming on there. I liked it overall. I will say a shout out to our friend Josh, because there's ABBA songs in this movie, and they actually play an important role towards the end of the movie. So you can't get much more Swedish than an Ingmar Bergman movie connection, also with the music of ABBA. Like, it's like mind blown. So it was a really good movie, though. I really enjoyed it. And if you like your film history and you love beautiful outdoor shots of Switzerland, I'm Switzerland, Sweden. maybe I'm the one who like needs a vacation. No, if you love Sweden and the outdoor location shots, it's really a great movie. I highly recommend it.
So is it like a movie within a movie?
Kinda, because they're like these filmmaking couple, and then they're trying to film this movie, but then the wife also has an idea for another movie. So half the movie is about the couple itself, and then the story that she's writing, because he's more the director and she's more the writer, but they kind of both work off of each other. So they're both writer directors. So it's kind of like the story that she wrote that relates to their marital problems and all this stuff. Because they go to the island thinking like, oh, we're perfect, but then they find out like they have all these marital problems. And so the romance that she's writing kind of is a allegory or representation of that.
Okay.
Is there a funny talking chef in the movie?
I really wish like the Swedish Chef would be the trifecta. It would be Ingmar Bergman, ABBA, Swedish Chef. That would cover all of Sweden.
That's all of their culture.
And I'm going to make you laugh, John, because literally before we recorded, I had Swedish meatballs, and I just realized that. In all seriousness.
Did you go to IKEA?
Right?
No, it was like one of those TV dinners.
Okay.
I wish I went to IKEA, though. That sounds amazing.
That actress is Mio Wasikowska. I just looked it up.
That's her name. I was not even going to attempt to pronounce her last name.
And I probably butchered it too.
But it's a good movie. I recommend it. It's on Hulu, about an hour, 50-minute movie.
Okay. So Bergman Island.
Yes.
Okay, with Tim Roth. All right.
Tim Roth and Mia W.
Wasikowska. Okay. And the Swedish Chef.
Yes.
Swedish Chef, yes.
Driving a Volvo.
Yeah.
All right. So, John, what do you have?
I'll talk about Beast. That's the movie that came out not too long ago. Did you see it advertising?
I did.
Perhaps.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Okay,
Sorry.
you might need to edit this part out now because I'm drawing a blank just because I'm tired from traveling.
That's okay.
Beast is, what's his name? Oh, Idris Elba. Jeez.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Okay,
so back
yeah.
on
I
track.
saw the poster, yeah, and it looked awesome.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer as well. So, yeah, please.
Yeah, so Beast starring Idris Elba, I would say fits in the same vein as Jaws or Cujo in that could possibly classify it as a horror movie. Some people call Jaws a horror, right? But it's more natural type horror. And in this case, instead of a shark or a dog, it's a lion. And he's trapped in a vehicle for a large part of the movie, like in Cujo, with his daughters. And there's a vengeful tiger coming after them because the listen to me, lion going after them because of the, because there's a lot of poaching around there and the lion sort of is taking revenge sort of thing. But it's good. There's a lot of good about it. It's not perfect. The action scenes are good. The acting, Idris Elba is good. Some of the other acting is okay. The scenes of Africa are absolutely stunning. There's a couple of times when they don't give enough credit to their audience and will spell out and explain what just happened. And we're like, yeah, we're not idiots. That was kind of easy to follow. But
it's like National Geographic, like the lion ate the person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, David Attenborough shows up.
Yes, exactly.
But for the most part, it was a good, entertaining summer movie. And, you get to see parts of Africa, which is kind of neat.
Which network is it on?
Oh, it's not. It's just in theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the director outright?
Yeah, I sure do. I 100% do. And that director's name happens to be Baltasar Kormacor.
Okay.
That famous guy.
Oh, yeah. That guy. Oh, yeah, of course. Him. Of course. Yeah.
Baltasar,
Yes. Balti.
Is that a person? Don't get it.
Yeah, so the biggest name attached is obviously Idris Elba, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a decent summer movie.
You would recommend it pretty much?
Yeah, like I say, don't go in expecting it to be perfect. It's not going to be up for an Oscar or anything, but...
Good summer movie.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, okay, my turn. I mean, I have a couple follow-ups, actually. I watched, on your recommendation, John, I watched Black Phone.
Oh, and?
I liked it quite a bit.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I think you mentioned like not lowering our expectations, but it's not, it's not like an absolute classic, but it's a decent enough movie, entertaining.
Yeah.
Don't look into the plot too hard because you will find holes.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But you also said that it was, if you will, the director was Scott Derrickson, I think.
Yeah.
And if there was going to be more adaptations from Joe Hill novels made by Scott Derrickson, you would watch them. And I agree, because it is just the right balance of, how can I say, like horror movie, not dumb, but well enough made.
Right.
And accessible and not mind bending, because, people might, jump off at that point. But no, it was a nice balance. Solid entertainment. Recommended. Absolutely.
Excellent.
And it's on Peacock now. So that's the Universal NBC streaming channel. So it got added like 2 ago. So that's been on my watch list. So I'm looking forward to.
Nick, did you watch the outfit? I mentioned it last episode. It was on Peacock as well.
I failed the homework assignment already because I should have watched it. But like, I will. The first of many sound effects because of my comments.
Okay.
I gotta watch it though. It's on Peacock too. So
yes. Yeah, because I didn't know, because you mentioned that, because you said, they had like ads for that movie, like,
oh, they still do,
wall to wall, basically.
It's like 8 months after it's released, and they're like, that movie. It's like, wow, they really want you to watch it.
Well, okay, but like if it's been really 8 months, maybe I'm not sure if you should watch it, because you might be disappointed.
Yeah,
like if it's really 8 months.
Oh, I'm kidding. I'm
Okay.
very I exaggerate a lot, but like it just seems like it's been out for a long time, and like they still advertise it like before the movies or TV shows or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, let's do Black Phone. Let's do anything else that's on there, like the new Jurassic World movie just premiered. It's like, okay, let's do that one. Maybe not the other one that they peddle.
Jesus. All right. So Nick, it's your turn. What do you have?
Oh, so I want to talk about the Netflix documentary Shania Twain, Not Just a Girl. Have you guys seen that movie?
Nope.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, as
Shania Twain?
Shania. Okay, as the American.
I'm from Canada, Patrick. Come on.
Oh, yeah, I was like, what the hell? I mean, I know Yellowknife is like out of the way, but come on.
That don't impress me much, Mutford. No, no, it was so Netflix documentaries, I'm going to be honest, I think are mostly shit.
Yes.
About 70% of them. I really do. They have some
Roger that.
good ones, like American Factory is a good movie, like documentary. Other ones are terrible. This is actually one that was really good. It's a standard rock documentary. It just goes from her early life to her career and legacy and what she's doing now. I really enjoyed it because I always loved Shania Twain. I got to meet Shania Twain. So for me, it was like amazing to like, I don't know, because that's my sister's favorite singer. And like 10 years ago, we went to Vegas as a family, and my dad won really big at one of the slot machines. He won like 10 grand. And Shania Twain was there because I guess Celine Dion or Elton John or whoever was on vacation. She was kind of like the placeholder for, I guess, X amount of months. And when he won, that's my sister's favorite singer. My dad bought front row tickets. We actually got to meet Shania. It was pretty amazing. So I love Shania. She's so like nice and she's amazing. And the documentary was really great. There's a lot of things I didn't know about her story that I thought I knew. Like she has Lyme's disease, and that's why she really didn't record much after 2002. And she was worried about her singing voice. And I just was so blown away because I really didn't know anything about this. So I was really, really enthralled by her story. She had such a terrible life, like with her parents both dying so young, and she had to take care of her brothers and sisters and overcome so much adversity to become the global superstar that she is. And she was, I think, one of the first people to blend country into the pop charts and be successful. So if you look at like Casey Musgraves and Taylor Swift, she paved the way for those kinds of artists years later. So,
did she participate in the
oh yeah,
documentary?
she was interviewed all the time. Someone who wasn't was Mutt Lang, because he is a cheater, as the documentary talks
Whose
about a little.
bed has his boots been under?
I know.
Oh,
Wait, what did you say, Mutford?
Nice.
I said, whose bed have his boots been under?
Well, I'm not even gonna make the joke. He's still not the one, I guess. No, that was amazing, Mutford. I missed it at first. No, it was just
Imagine
really
me
good.
smashing that soundbite button right there.
No, it was really good. It's like 90 minutes, and you got to hear from contemporary country artists and people like John Landau, who was Bruce Springsteen's manager, because he helped produce the Come On Over album. That's like one of the biggest albums ever. No, it's really good. If you have any interest in Shania, as you should, because she's amazing, you should check it out. And yeah, that's your homework assignment for next time, guys.
Awesome. John, what do you have?
Next one is classified as folk horror. It's just simply called Men. It was released by... Yeah. Have you seen it, Patrick?
Well, yeah, I mentioned it on last episode.
Oh, okay. In which case, then there's two that I need to follow up with you on.
Okay.
I found it a bizarre movie. Holy cow!
Yes.
So, directed by Alex Garland, stars Jessie Buckley as the main woman, and Rory Kinnear as almost every male in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Including a kid at one point he's supposed to be. But
yes.
I found that the first part of the movie almost started off almost like a more traditional horror movie. And there's genuine scares. It worked as a horror movie. But then it takes this really weird turn that I'm still processing like a week or two later. Like, I'm not sure what I think of this.
That's pretty much the exact same thing I said when I talked about that movie. The last 10 minutes are what the fuck times 1,000.
Wait, Alex Garland has that effect, the guy who did Ex Machina?
Yes,
like,
and
so weird.
Annihilation.
But he's great, though, like as a filmmaker.
Overall, I would still say I liked it, but it was a, sorry for the language on your podcast, but it was a mindfuck at the end.
I don't think you have to worry about language.
I'm clutching my pearls over here.
Yeah. Do you have your fainting couch nearby?
Yes, I do.
Smelling salts to wake you up.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously we don't want to give things away from this, but a lot was really well done. It looked great. The movie looked great. Absolutely. The acting was great. It
was creepy as hell.
Creepy as hell, and it's certainly it's original.
Yes. And I mean, if you guys, okay, so whoever knows about Alex Garland, how can I say, like the movie for the ending for this movie doesn't compare with his previous movies. It's like, when I said what the fuck times 1,000, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I still need to see Men. Like that's what I wanted to see for a while.
It's still, it's legit good. Honestly, it's still good. Yep.
I will say, Mutford, I really like the poster for that movie. Like, you definitely don't forget it. Like with the guy, and you like the close-up shot, and then it has the men over his eyes.
Yeah, no, and it sets the tone for sure of this creepy movie. Yeah,
Men are terrible anyway. No, I'm kidding.
No, we are. Yeah,
we are.
And this movie confirms it.
Yes. Yes.
That's something to look forward to on my end, because men are terrible. Like myself.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so my turn. Okay, so this time I'm going to do a follow-up on one of the movies you mentioned, Nick.
Ooh.
By some chance, I watched Paddington 2.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God. What did you think?
Okay, so I have a IPTV subscription, so I can watch, whatever from wherever, basically. So I leave it to like Sky Movies or something, and it happened to show Paddington 2, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot, like in the background. And I remember your description of it And I was like rolling my eyes internally. I was like, oh God, some corny shit again or something.
God damn it, Nick.
Yes. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Ben Whishaw does a brilliant job with the voice. And yeah, the bear is like naive, but really eager at the same time and really helpful. And, just like a good, yeah, maybe he's Canadian. He's just a good bear, a good person, And this is the kind of movie I should have been rolling my eyes, enough to give me a concussion. But somehow I enjoyed it quite a bit. So it was, yeah, very pleasant surprise.
You know why though? Because it's a family movie, but it actually has an intelligent script, and it like doesn't pander to the children or the adults. And I think that's what these Paddington movies do. And I think, that's why they work so well. And they're visually stunning. They almost remind me so much of like Wes Anderson. Like you could easily see,
that's a good shout.
The palette that Wes Anderson does. And for listeners, he did like Royal Tenenbaums and The Great Budapest Hotel and Moonrise Kingdom and all those movies where they're so visually stunning.
There's a reason I'm laughing at your Wes Anderson things, which will come up later in the show.
Well, I could give some hot takes on his movies because, I have plenty of them on Wes Anderson. No, but Paddington 2, I think, is just one of the best sequels because you don't have to watch the first one to get this one. Yep. But it's such a heartwarming movie. And like Paddington's just adorable. Like that little bear and his raincoat jacket. Oh, it just warms my heart and soul, honestly.
Shout out to Uncut Bears joke last episode with the raincoat and all that,
So the week we recorded, for listeners, I was not feeling good, and then I found out that I had COVID, and I didn't remember anything I said. So when I re-listened to that, boy, was that a surprise. So
a good one, I hope.
Yes, that was a good one. Well, anytime Mutford and you are on, it's always a good episode. Me, I don't.
Come on. All right, so okay, Nick, it's your turn.
Yeah, so the next movie I want to talk about is Together. It's with Ed Helms and Patty Harrison. Have you guys seen that movie?
No.
It's like a comedy drama, but it's more of a comedy. It's interesting. It's about Ed Helms. He's in his 40s. He lives in San Francisco. He's like an app developer. He never met the right woman, but he wants a child. So he hires a surrogate to carry his child, who is Patty Harrison. And, she's a mess, like without giving up way too much. Like you see it in the first 5 minutes, but she's a hot mess. And they kind of develop this close platonic relationship or friendship that kind of makes you think, are they going to get together? Are they not going to get together? Or as a couple? But it's really, really good. Like it's also on Hulu, and it's definitely like an indie movie in so many ways. So it's only like 80 something minutes, and the tone is kind of quirky, and it kind of balances the comedy and the drama like you'd expect in an independent film. But I actually really enjoyed it. It's one of those movies that took me by surprise, and I think it's interesting to see Ed Helms, who's from like The Hangover and The Office and all those things, in a more dramatic role. So even though it's not like a true drama, it's more of a comedy, but it's still really great. I enjoyed it.
Okay, so what's the name again?
Together.
All right.
Like redundant.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. All right. Okay, so John, what do you have?
Well, the next two are also going to be reviews of ones that I think, Patrick, you mentioned. You mentioned Crimes of the Future, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes. So that was one I saw. Mm-hmm. I was a little underwhelmed.
Okay.
I think I knew all the body horror parts that were built up so much to me that I was like expecting more in that vein. It got there. And I gotta say, I don't know why, and this might come across as a hot take, but I'm not a fan of Viggo Mortensen.
Oh. In general, or
in general, every time I see him in a movie, I never buy that I never fully accept his performance.
I never liked him either. Okay, this is why we're friends.
No, he's acting. Yeah, and he didn't do anything for me in this movie either, unfortunately. But it was okay. It wouldn't be the best nor worst Cronenberg movie ever.
First thing that came to mind when you mentioned you're not crazy about Viggo Mortensen, Have you seen History of Violence?
Yeah.
Of
I
course.
knew you were
That's
going to
great.
ask me that one.
Yeah, so it still
Nope.
didn't work. Okay.
Didn't like him in that. Didn't like him in Lord of the Rings.
Okay. I'm trying
Sorry.
to think of other things.
Well, he was in Captain Fantastic, which was really good, and he was nominated
Did not
for
see
an
that
Oscar.
one. I didn't see that one.
I think that's something you need to watch, Mutford, because he was fantastic in it, like the title suggests.
Yeah, like his name.
And there have been actors before where I've said, I don't like them. I've never seen them in something, and all of a sudden they'll surprise me. So I am open-minded enough that I'll try to watch. What is it, Captain Fantastic?
Yeah, that came out in 2016 or 2016. I
Okay.
think.
I got another one for you, John. Eastern Promises.
Oh, yes, that's great.
I've heard good things. I mean, I know of the movie, but no, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so I mean, okay, not necessarily for Viggo Mortensen, although I think he is good in that. It is a good movie, so you should check it out if you can. It's still from Cronenberg, and yeah, Eastern Promises.
And it's
with,
Naomi Watts. That
yes,
should sell
Naomi
it
Watts,
on you
yes.
on that.
Oh, I like her. So, okay.
There you go. Okay, woo! Yeah,
Yep.
we sold you to a to a good movie. Okay, so my turn. I saw Prey. Prey is the Predator prequel, if
I've
you
heard good
like.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. All right. So I would say, okay, I don't want to give too much away. It's like, Predator concept, same deal, but it is in the like I know the terms in French, but I don't know the terms in English. Like
Poutine?
No, it's like the God, First Nations. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, indigenous or?
Yes, indigenous. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I was. I had. Yeah.
I think you lost me for 2 minutes because I almost cried.
Yeah. You almost pissed yourself laughing. That's okay. So yeah. Okay. So that's Predator. Okay. Same concept. That takes place in like 1720 or so, in around, I'd say probably around the Great Lakes. Many people said it was the second best Predator movie. Like they put the first one on top of the list, and then that one, and then Predator 2, and then all the other ones. I would agree, although you have to adjust your expectations. I don't think they had massive budget for this one, so the CGI is a bit janky at times.
Right.
But I mean, personally, I don't let that affect me, but it might take some people out of the movie. And otherwise, I really enjoyed it. Tension was good, acting was great, and it was simple enough. Also, I like that there were several theories. Okay, so jump into spoiler territory here, but the technology is different. The Predator tech is different from the more recent movies, and there are some explanations regarding that. And I think whichever explanation you choose could make sense. So that kind of works. But I really liked it. It was, I mean, I honestly expected nothing good, but I was pleasantly surprised.
And I think that movie's on Hulu.
I think it is, yes.
I missed if you've already said this. Is this a prequel?
Yes. Well, I mean, you don't need to have seen the other movies.
Okay.
But if you're familiar with the concept of the Predator, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yes, but I recommend it. It's good. Okay, so Nick, what do you have?
The last one I'm going to talk about is the Velvet Underground documentary that came out early in the year, the Todd Haynes documentary about the very legendary rock band of the late 1960s. I really enjoyed it. It's such a visually stunning movie. And what I like about this movie is that Haynes really makes this movie about the scene, which is, I think, just as important as the band itself. So it's come out of this New York avant-garde experimental art scene of the 60s. So it encompasses not only music, but it's like art, because Andy
Warhol.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Thank you, Mutford. I
couldn't remember Idris Elba earlier. So
Andy Warhol.
No judgment here.
Because he was their manager, and then the factory, but also like film and poetry, and there's just so many arts at stake. But it's really so visually stunning to the point that it made me wish I saw it in the theater, because he uses a lot of like split screens, which is really interesting because you see like the films that Andy Warhol made, and Warhol's movies are very like weird, and like it's just like Lou Reed stare at the camera for 5 minutes. Then you see people talking and whatever events they're showing you from the archival footage. But it's really, really well done. And I think it paints a really good picture for a band that still so criminally underrated, but so very important to the development of rock and roll as an art form. And yeah, I think if you have no idea who the Velvet Underground are, you don't have to have any knowledge before watching this movie. I think it paints a really good picture. And Todd Haynes, of course, is one of my favorite filmmakers because he did Far From Heaven, Safe, Carol. He did so many wonderful movies over the years, and this was his first documentary, and I highly recommend it.
All right. So what's the name?
The Velvet Underground, like the band itself.
And is it streaming, Nick?
On Apple TV Plus, which I hate to say it, that streaming service always sounds very unnatural to say because it's like Apple TV Plus. I don't know, just like make it Apple Plus and make it Apple TV. I don't know, just doesn't flow well together. But it's very good though.
All right. Okay, so John, what do you have?
Another one that you talked about, and another one I don't think we're going to agree with.
Okay.
Because I think you said you were not impressed with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, I did like this one a lot, actually. To me, it felt like maybe a more adult, more polite Rick and Morty episode.
Okay.
And I love Rick and Morty, too, but it was just the whole idea of these multiverse things and the concepts, and it's just fun and silly, but there's still a nice story underneath it all. If you can follow, you got to be awake when you watch this movie. But I really enjoyed it.
I mean, I remember saying that maybe I wasn't in the right mood to watch it. Maybe I would be willing to give it a second chance, but like now that I know what the concept is, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much.
Yeah, well, that's true. That surprise element would be gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I absolutely realized that I was in the minority, and on that one, I was not going to argue my position. You know, I could be flat out wrong, and I could accept that.
Right.
You know? So I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm a firm believer of if you don't like a movie and it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Because I think it's such a subjective thing sometimes that, like, you know.
But I'm also hearing what Patrick's saying, that sometimes I recognize there's probably a good movie I saw, but I was either too tired or just not in the right mood for it or whatever. But I can get that people would enjoy this movie. It's just I was not in the headspace for it at that time, right? And I'm not saying that was necessarily the case there, but I've been there if so.
For me, I think it was. Yeah, because for example, okay, so I cut out that part from the last episode. I talked about, okay, I might as well talk, for a few seconds about it. This French movie, Petite Maman. I told you about it last episode. It was 70 minutes, like supernatural, but not science fiction really. It was an awesome movie. If you could check it out, do so. And it was from the same director as Cécile Sciamma, her name is, I think. She also did A Portrait of a Young Woman on Fire.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And that movie is absolutely amazing. But that movie is also kind of slow moving. And it's like maybe almost all natural lighting, a la Barry Lyndon, kind of. Same vibe, almost. And that's not for everyone. And I can definitely understand someone hating that movie.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that comes back to what you said. You have to be in the right headspace to enjoy certain movies, for sure.
I think it's funny, Mutford, just on a quick side note, you picked like almost all your movies, I think, were A24 studio releases because Men, Everything Everywhere at Once, and I forgot what else you picked, but I think those are all A24. So they have a very distinct style to that studio. So I thought it was really interesting that you picked those.
Well, they do. They also do a lot of horror. So it's not, and I'm always watching horror, as you know, and especially newer stuff. So they seem to be the new hit one, right? I got to say, it's still a crapshoot for me. I wouldn't say I'm hardcore. Anything A24 does is great. They're certainly putting out interesting things, but I haven't loved everything they do, but I'll certainly watch everything they do.
Yeah, absolutely. My turn. I watched Top Gun Maverick. Oh
Oh,
my God, Nick, your eyes popped right out of your head.
I have a really good story for this. Uh,
Okay.
I was supposed to see it 3 times in theaters, and all 3 times it was sold out, and I had to go see something else, and then I just gave up.
Oh,
See it in theaters.
that's
I know.
well, that sucks.
I
Uh,
know.
yeah, I mean, I didn't even try to see it in theaters. I went the tactical way. But yeah, okay. So I guess there could be a lot of ways to approach this movie. I hate to go with that cliche, but you absolutely have to turn your brain off when it comes to the tactical aspect of the plane. Uh, Anything involving planes in that movie, pretty much, because tactically it makes no sense. Uh, like politically, which country do they go to? We don't know. We don't care. It's not mentioned. Who gives a shit?
Really?
Yeah. It's like, faceless bad man basically, go destroy that nuclear factory or whatever, nuclear plant or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, faceless bad man. And yeah, because like they go to the, I mean, of course, some internet detectives started trying to figure out which country they would go to. So they fly over a beach, and then a few minutes later they go over snowy mountains. So it's probably Iran, but no one knows for sure. But but that's okay. It doesn't matter. But yeah, honestly, as long as you don't, and I don't want to step into that minefield, but I know it's kind of putting your, burying your head into the sand to ignore the political climate right now. But
Right.
for this movie, you kind of need to, if you want to enjoy it, because if you do succeed in ignoring that aspect, it is a really good movie. Everything involving planes in that movie is really well done. The visuals are amazing. I didn't see it on IMAX, unfortunately, but I can only imagine how mind blowing that would have been. And okay, yeah, the story is pretty much like a carbon copy of the previous one. You both saw the previous one, Top
Yeah.
Gun, yes. And okay, so yeah, whatever. You have plenty of callbacks. I hate the love song, the love theme with the guitar. I hate that song. I don't ever want to hear it again. And it plays at, like they play a couple, few seconds of it, like 10 times in the movie. So I roll my eyes and move on. Okay, so Jennifer Connelly, she is like 51, I think now. She is gorgeous, like, gorgeouser than gorgeous, but she doesn't need to be in the movie. And that kind of sucks, but, it's the truth. She doesn't really need to be in the movie. That's
Mhm.
okay. But she is good still. Yeah, she is awesome. I know that makes a lot of caveats, but still, I enjoyed my time definitely. And if you have a good home setup, put it in, crank it up, and you will have a good time. And if you quote me out of context for the last few seconds, I might be in trouble. Put it in, crank it up.
You'll have a good time.
All right, there you go. That works as well. No, yeah, I recommend it. Yes, it is really well executed.
I will say though, this is one of the few movies, like summer, like blockbuster movies, where I've heard nothing but good things. I don't think I've heard one person honestly critique this movie or complain about this movie. Like, oh, it sucks. Oh, it's over long. Tom Cruise is too old to be a movie like superhero. No, I mean, like, I think that's all like not true. But like, it seems like everyone that I know has loved this movie. I don't know.
I haven't heard anything bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect summer movie. It absolutely is. And for IMAX especially, it's knocks it out of the park. Everyone was falling over themselves praising the movie. I agree. I understand that completely. But just a quick aside, I said like it's kind of gross, like in a political sense, but you can put that aside. It's still a super enjoyable movie. Yeah, absolutely.
I have to watch it now.
Yeah, please.
Just not go to the theaters because I'm always out of luck.
Yeah, like the place will burn down like the day before you go or something.
I know, right?
Something like that. All right, so okay, Nick, your turn. What do you have?
Oh, is it still movies?
If you want.
I don't have any more movies.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. No problem. John, do you have anything with movies?
I could move on to TV as well.
Okay, in that case, last recommendation movies. I will be quick. Canadian movie, a horror movie. John, you perk up.
Uh-huh.
It's called Blood Quantum.
Blood Quantum.
Yes.
And I haven't even heard of this.
I don't know.
Is it a violent version of Quantum Leap? No.
No, it could be. It could be, but it's like a zombie movie involving First Nations people.
Really? Okay, I'm letterboxing that one right now.
I don't know if it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything. Okay, so yeah, Blood Quantum, it's probably 2018. I was pleasantly surprised. So 2019 Canadian horror movie. Yeah, Jeff Barnaby. Yes, okay.
Awesome. Thanks for that recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, check it out. Let me know what you think. I mean, I enjoyed it. So, okay, so we can move on to TV. Nick, your turn.
Okay, so we mentioned this actor before, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the last movie stars, Ethan Hawke's pet project that's about the life and careers of Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. Paul Newman, for those who don't know, is my favorite actor. I've always loved Paul Newman, like one of my heroes for many reasons. But yeah, he's just awesome. And this movie, or really the series, kind of just focuses on both of their careers and analyzes some of the movies and how those movies also reflect some of the turbulent things that would happen in their marriage and with their family. And yeah, it's really, really, I think it's well done. It's really interesting. Like, have you both seen the last movie stars?
I haven't. Sorry.
It's on HBO Max. He made this during COVID, and you see, so Ethan Hawke uses like the Zoom box, like it doesn't attempt to like hide that it's like still says Ethan Hawke or Mark Ruffalo or whoever he's interviewing. From that, so it seemed like a little amateurish from that perspective, like some of the technical details and some of the trajectory and the story timelines a little all over the place in certain segments. Like he'll discuss like a movie that was released like in 68, but then he'll circle back to a movie in like 62, but it's like much later. So it's really weird sometimes how he does the chronology, but you can tell he's very passionate about this project, and it has so many famous people. And something to add too that's really unique about this documentary series is that like George Clooney voices Paul Newman and Laura Linney voices Joanne Woodward, and then there's a lot of famous people that voice different people that are involved with their life and career and story. Like someone voices Gore Vidal, someone voices like directors of some of the movies that he was in and whatnot. But it's really interesting. But sometimes I wish they went with unknown actors to play like Newman and Woodward, because especially Clooney, I like him, but he has a very distinctive voice, and you almost can't separate Clooney. And then when he's trying to be the voice of Paul Newman, like, cause he doesn't like, you don't see him when he's reciting the lines, like it's on like a tape recorder, or there's different ways that he goes around to that. But like when he's reading letters or whatever it may be. But I felt like sometimes it was distracting, and it was more distracting when some of those same people that were voicing these famous people also commented on some of the events and situations and films. And I kind of got confused after a while. Like, where did one stop and one begin? And I don't know. But it's really good if you like Paul Newman, which you should, and Joanne Woodward, and she's still alive. God bless her. I think you should definitely watch it. I think it's a really nice tribute to one of Hollywood's greatest couples and why they had such a huge impact on generations of actors and actresses.
Oh, God. You said which network it was on?
Oh, HBO Max.
HBO, yes. Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right. It's not the first time I've heard of that doc, and it's been on my list. I'll try and check it out.
And the good thing is it's 6 hours over 6 episodes, but some of the episodes are like a little bit longer, shorter, but it's very breezy in the sense that like you could slip through an episode and it doesn't feel like it's an hour, like, if that makes sense. So I like documentary series like that where it doesn't feel like an hour, it feels like 40 minutes, but that's just me at least.
No, yeah, well, yeah, I'll check it out. All right, so John, what do you have?
I'll be quick with the first TV show because I mentioned it last time, but I hadn't finished the season the last time around. It just because the season hadn't finished. But Only Murders in the Building, the Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez show that's on Disney in Canada, Hulu in the States. Second season, just as good as the first. They stuck the landing of the second one and set it up for a third season, which they've already signed on to do. Again, really cool aesthetics, really cool vibe in this show. It's just really, it's like if you like cozy mysteries, I guess, with a little bit of humor in there. It's surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting to like this series.
You're still on board.
Yes, I'm still on board.
All right, okay. Awesome. All right, so me, I started watching Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. The first time I watched both episodes because, okay, so episode 2 was last Sunday. Sunday was the 28th, I think. And first time I saw them, I really didn't like them. I thought it was like, dollar store Game of Thrones. And I thought, okay, so you guys didn't watch Game of Thrones, the original series, right? Okay. So, I'll try and make it quick. There is this, not this race, but like this family called the Targaryen. They have platinum blonde hair. In the original Game of Thrones, they were almost elf-like because they were so, beautiful and perfect. And in this series, House of the Dragon, they all look like shit. and it's really hard to explain.
And not even having seen it, I've seen people talking about that on social media.
Okay.
Yeah, the exact same thing you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the wig technology must have, like it's gone down over the past couple of years. I don't know what's going on. And I've read someone describe them as, okay, this sounds really mean, but it made me laugh. It described them as lumpy inbred albinos.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay, that's harsh, but it made me laugh. So yeah, okay. So I rewatched them. And still, I gotta say, I'm getting on board. I'm not fully convinced yet, but
those lumpy inbred albinos have charm.
Yes.
Those lumpy inbred albinos. So you're warming up to them, Patrick.
Yeah, it's also a great name for a cover band.
Right?
Or maybe a punk band.
Yeah, for sure.
Who are we? We're the lumpy inbred albinos.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, what else can I say?
I think that's like the highlight of this episode so far.
We have our soundbite for this episode. But no, I know it sounds terrible saying this, but it's okay so far. I mean, the first few seasons of Game of Thrones were exceptional. I rewatched them recently. It was also such a joy to see old veterans like, Diana Rigg and Charles Dance, old actors like that in Game of Thrones. They would own every scene they were in, and it was a joy to watch. And in the first few seasons, the dialogue was amazing as well. So yeah, if you have the chance, rewatch Game of Thrones. Yeah, House of the Dragon, I'm still in. Lumpy inbred albinos for the win.
That was the original name of the Edgar Winter group, I think.
Oh yeah, it might have been.
That might have been.
Yes. All right, so Nick, your turn. What do you have?
So I watched the show The Rehearsal. Have you guys heard of that show?
I've heard of it.
Yes.
Okay, so did you ever watch the show Nathan for You that was on Comedy Central in the 2010s?
Again, I know of it, and I may have seen a scene or two, but I don't think I've...
Same.
It helped me get through grad school, that show. It's one of the funniest shows ever. Because Nathan Fielder is this Canadian comedian and comedy writer, and he basically... Well, Nathan for You is about him trying to help people like better themselves, but it's like in the style of these like makeover shows, but he comes up with the most convoluted or impractical ways to help boost their business or whatever it is that he's trying to do. On The Rehearsal, which is on HBO Max, he basically helps ordinary people rehearse difficult conversations or events that are happening in their life. And he uses sets and actors to help recreate those real life situations. So those things haven't happened yet, but they're anticipating that they will happen. So, like on the first episode, this isn't a spoiler because it really has nothing to do with the rest of the season, but like this one guy in New York City is a part of a trivia group, and he basically wants to impress his friends, and they all have master's degrees. He's been friends with them for 10 years. He lied about having a master's degree, and he's now too scared to tell his friends that, you know, he doesn't have the master's degree. So Nathan comes in and basically tries to simulate all these sets and actors and stuff to help this guy prepare to tell his friends the news that he doesn't have a master's degree. And they do it from like every angle you could think of, any type of thing. It sounds ridiculous and over the top.
I love this premise, by the way. I'm so on board with watching this.
He's such a genius, like on so many ways, and he's a master of just the human psyche and the human behavior, and it's just amazing. And like the people on the show that he uses that wants to recreate the events that haven't happened yet, they're so friggin' out of their mind insane. Like, it's ridiculous.
Nick, do they show after the real confession?
Yes.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Oh, yeah. They not only meet the person that wants to help rehearse the events that haven't happened yet, but they also go and try to get a feel of who the person is that they are trying to confront to. And you find out more often than not, no spoilers, that those people are even more screwed up than the person that is seeking Nathan out. And it's just such a brilliant show on so many levels. It's so unique and so creative. And Nathan Fielder is just one of my favorite people in the world. Like,
so gonna
he's
watch
just
this. Yeah.
so funny. And you don't have to watch Nathan for you per se to enjoy this show, but he has a very dry sense of humor. So like, it depends on how dry you like your sense of humor and how absurd you could you could take, or the humor so just awkward and absurd that I don't know, I love it. It's like, that's kind of like my favorite type of humor, but I love it.
But those guys are not actors. They are real people.
They're real people.
Okay.
They're real people, and then he hires actors.
Okay.
And there's like one overarching theme in the show, and it's kind of like the movie Boyhood, the Richard Linklater movie. So it's kind of like a unique take on that. No spoilers, but it's really, really great.
All right. Intriguing. To be honest, I kind of knew about the premise, but when anything like that involves real people, I'm kind of wary about it. Maybe if it's like a candid camera, I'm out, you know?
But he's so great at it, though, because like he plays off of his own kind of persona, which is sort of like himself. But like, it's more of a commentary about himself than the actual people.
Is it that you feel that it's exploitative, or that you just don't believe that it's fake, or what?
I think exploitative is the right word. Like getting people into a bit that they don't know they are a part of.
Right.
My anxiety like goes through the roof, you know?
So on Nathan For You, for example, every episode of every segment pretty much ends with him kind of basically ruining these people's business or whatever. And it's like, and then he says basically at the end of every segment, "Would you like to be my friend?" And usually the answer is no.
Okay.
But like, he's in on the joke too, because he's socially awkward and he's like a weird guy. So
I didn't know he was Canadian.
I didn't either.
Oh yeah. Actually, a funny story is he has his green card and they labeled his gender. Like, it's clearly him, but it says like female, like the F for gender. It's really funny. And it literally says Nathan Fielder and this and that. And he had it on Letterman or one of the talk shows. And it's like hilarious because it's like, How do you screw up Nathan's gender identity on his
yeah.
green card?
And they probably do interviews before giving you green cards as well, right?
Right.
Huh,
But he's a
okay.
good sport. And Mutford, something to know is that he was married to a librarian.
Ah,
I know.
he's
He
got good
divorced
taste.
her,
He's got
though.
good taste.
He does. I love him so much. And he hasn't done anything in like 5 years. So when this was announced that he was going back, I was like beyond happy. And I was just so, because Nathan for You was just one of my favorite things ever. Like, oh, it's so good. And this is brilliant too. So there better be season 2.
All right. The rehearsal on HBO Max, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. John, what do you have?
Okay, so I wasn't going to talk about She-Hulk first because I'm
Spit take by Nick.
I'm enjoying She-Hulk. The only reason I wasn't going to bring it up though was because there are only two episodes in, and so I was going to focus on ones that I've actually finished. But you two both are naming series that you're partway through, so I'm okay to talk about that one.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, it's quite funny, but the one I was going to put in place of that was their I Am Groot show that also, because I did watch all of those. Now those are only 6 shorts that they released as a series, and it's more aimed at young kids, but it's still charming, and it's got a bit of the, I guess, Looney Tunes sort of sense of humor about it. Obviously, they have to clean it up for modern audiences, not like Looney Tunes with Elmer Fudd running with the giant axe or anything, but it's close to what you could do with Looney Tunes sort of sense of humor in this modern world, I guess, but it's cute little baby Groot playing the main one. So, it's a fun little cartoon for the kids, or for kids at heart like myself.
Which network is that on?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Oh, okay. All right. Well, to stay within the cartoon realm, what I would recommend is called Primal. Have you heard of it, John?
No, I have not. I'm going to look it up. What is this?
Yeah, Primal. It is on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim.
Okay.
So yeah, this is from Gennady Tartakovsky, who did the Clone Wars.
Oh, those are good.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I got a synopsis here. Primal is set in a deliberately anachronistic vision of prehistory, portraying the dinosaurs, prehistoric hominids, and Iron Age Homo sapiens as coexisting within the same barbaric time period and incorporating many elements of fantasy, horror, action, and adventure. We are in the 3rd season right now, and like each episode is like 20 minutes, if that.
Right.
And I like the visuals. There is no dialogue. It's all prehistoric, grunting and screaming and groaning. And it is another case of I should hate this, but I love it.
Well, I find it very interesting that they're able to tell the whole story without any dialogue. Although, to be fair, I Am Groot is the same way.
Yes,
except for I Am Groot. That's all he ever says. But I'm looking. I've got the images pulled up on my other screen here. It looks incredible. Yeah, I'll give that a shot.
You should be able to have trailers and clips on YouTube if you want to have a taste of the series. It premiered in October 2019, and right now I think the 3rd season will end this upcoming Sunday, I think. So no, yeah, I like it. And it's like as I said, 20 minutes per episode. Short and sweet. All right, so Nick, what about you?
I don't have any more TV. I'm lame. I only had 2 shows.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Absolutely no problem. John, do you have anything else?
I'll go with The Sandman on Netflix, the Neil Gaiman adaptation of his comic books. I really pushed to finish this on the flights home today because I wanted, again, series that I've actually finished, and I have been enjoying it, and I did manage to finish it. Really good. I would call it fantasy, but also really goth or gothic.
Okay.
So not fantasy like with knights and dragons, although there are dragons in it too. More about death and dreams, but it's really good. This comic, they used to say, was unadaptable for the screen, but I think they did a remarkable job doing it. Took me a little while to warm up to the main actor because he looked sort of like a, I don't know, Dunn store Robert Pattinson, I guess. Um, um, but honestly, when I think back at the comics, I don't know if you've ever read the comics, but he does look like him, and he does the part. I wish sometimes he had a bit more of a sense of humor as a character, but occasionally you see a bit more of his humanity coming through. And towards the end, a part of the plot line is that, yeah, he's still a flawed hero too. So it's quite an interesting series for sure.
You read the comic?
Yeah, not all of them because there were so many, but I've read like a couple omnibuses of them, which are super thick. So,
but when you read them, did you have the impression that there is no way they could, turn this into a TV series?
Yeah, I would have imagined it would have been very challenging for sure.
Okay,
because I mean, a lot of it is Are you familiar with the premise at all?
not really.
Okay, so the main guy, who's played by Tom Sturridge, he goes by either Dream or Morpheus. So he's the king of dreams, basically, and he can control what everybody in the world dreams about and stuff. But it has bearing on your life in the real world, sort of thing. So there's a lot of crazy, intense dream sequences, right? So because we all know how crazy our dreams can be. So to film that, and when I heard that they were adapting it for TV, I thought, well, that's even going to be more difficult because they don't have the budget and it's going to be on a smaller screen and stuff. But then they really pull off the visuals and stuff. It's quite a good job they've done.
When I read about that, I was like, okay, yeah, I've seen a couple of things from Neil Gaiman before, like Stardust.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that, but that was a way back. So I wasn't sure, like, stuff like American Gods I didn't bother with because, like, Gods I don't care about,
Right. Yeah.
So you would recommend it?
Not for everyone. My wife and I watch a lot of TV together. I don't think she would enjoy this one.
Okay, so she didn't see that.
No. There's a lot we watch together, like Only Murders in the Building, which I talked about. That's up her alley. I don't think she would enjoy it. But if you're into Game of Thrones, and I mean, like I said, it's definitely got fantasy elements to it, but maybe not in the traditional way of fantasy. So I'm not sure. If you've got any inner goth in you at all, then go with that. It also, the plot, there's some episodes that sort of stand on their own. There's other ones that sort of wrap up over 3 or 4 episodes, like in almost like a comic book arc. And then there's a few other ones that sort of go the whole length of the season. So it's kind of neat that way too. Every show has its own catch to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, my turn. I just wanted to do a quick follow-up on The Bear. I don't remember if you guys saw it when I mentioned it last episode. Did you, or you've watched it since, right?
I thought I had finished it by the last one, but yeah, I love The Bear.
Maybe it was mentioned on Twitter, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I just wanted to, I still kept thinking about it a little bit, but I just have to go back on the first scene of episode 6 when we finally see Mikey.
Right.
For those who didn't, okay, so I'm not going to say who that is, but that scene works so well because now you realize why Mikey has such an influence over everybody else, because he has so much charisma that, everyone was completely drawn to him.
Yeah.
And, the anecdote he tells, like, meeting Denis Savard and Chris Elios and Ed Belfour at this bar and
right.
all that was like an awesome scene. And it was the glue for the entire series, pretty much. Now, from that scene, now you could understand why he cast such a shadow by killing himself. He cast such a shadow over the rest of the family. He left such a void.
Yeah.
Because he was such a strong presence. And that scene was amazing. Episode 7, like the one take episode, is amazing, but I think I prefer that scene more.
You're making me like that scene more. I did like the scene, but you're right that when he walked into that room and started telling the story, the whole room revolved around him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like you say, if you apply that retroactively to the episodes you just saw, you see the void.
Yes, and then everybody mentioning Mikey, or in the previous 5 episodes, and now it makes sense.
Yeah,
why everybody was so in love with him almost. So yeah, I had to go back to that.
Great show.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Nick, yeah, yes, no.
It's so funny. Like my TV club that I run on Zoom bi-monthly, or every month, really. Sometimes it's bi-monthly. We're doing that in October, so
I got to be there.
Oh yes, you gotta be. I'm looking forward to it. It's one of those that someone in the group mentioned, and I was like, absolutely. And a lot of the FX shows that are on Hulu are so great. So even like just with that alone, I would take a chance on it. But I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Nick, you said you were done with TV.
Yeah.
Okay. John, do you have anything else?
I've got 2 others written down, but I might save them, Patrick, if it's okay with you. Just
Sure.
because they're ones that are not wrapped up yet, and I might have more concrete thoughts when the shows are wrapped up. I'm as far as I can get in these 2 series, but I'm just waiting for a few new episodes to drop. But
Awesome.
Until next time, people.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect.
I know how to get myself back again.
Yes, well done. Yeah, you figured it out.
Yeah,
working the system.
It's my Cinderella slipper for you.
Yes, exactly. Well done.
That's awesome, Mutford.
Brilliant. All right, so we can quickly talk about trailers and other things that we saw. Nick, did anything catch your eye over the trailer related?
Yes, one that I watched the trailer for earlier this week, and it's coming out in mid-September, is Mood Age Daydream, the David Bowie documentary that's coming out. That looks really, really incredible. And it uses like archival footage, and it's just trying to talk. I guess it's exploring his creative process and musical journey. And it's from Brett Morgan. I think he did, I forgot what music documentary offhand. I want to say it was the Montage of Heck.
Love that. I love that documentary.
I think he either produced it or directed it. Yeah, he's a really great documentarian. He also did one that I liked called The Kid Stays in the Picture. Have you guys seen that? It's like 20 years ago.
Yes, about Robert Evans.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's really, really, he's a great filmmaker, and it looks incredible from everything that I've seen from the trailer. I really, really enjoyed it.
Nice. Okay, so Moonage Daydream.
Yeah, think like the Bowie song. I mean, it's about Bowie, of course. I guess that's how.
Yeah, that makes sense.
that they get the song, of course. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, too, that movie's only going to be in theaters. So I don't even know. Apparently it's going to be a long time before it gets to streaming. That's what I've heard. So
okay,
it's kind of if it's in theaters, go see it.
We've a buddy of mine here, and I have, because we sell the trailer too, and we say if it actually makes it to a theater here, we're going to dress as Bowie to go watch this thing.
Nice.
I might cross the U.S. border to go see this movie. No,
I'm skeptical that this movie will be played in Yellowknife, but we shall see.
Hey, we could all have dreams and aspirations, and one of it is a place in your town.
Right.
Awesome. John, did you have anything with trailers?
Okay, so we mentioned Guillermo del Toro earlier, right?
Yes.
So his Cabinet of Curiosities show series that's coming out, TV series. Now he's producing it, but he's got a real hand apparently in he handpicked the directors and guided them a little bit in each episode. And the trailer just looks amazing. It looks like it's pure, again, gothic imagery and neat, interesting, fascinating stories with a bit of a dark edge to them.
Yeah, Cabinet of Curiosities. It's it reminded me of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, the expressionist.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But it looks really good. I don't know. Have you seen, either one of you seen the trailer?
Nope.
But Cabinet Dr. Caligari, I used to teach all the time when I was a film teacher, and I love that movie. So that piques my interest right there.
There you go. Do you know which network it will?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe it's Netflix, but I'm going to double check that. Netflix, yes.
Netflix. Okay. Is there a date or?
October 25th, just in time for Halloween.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Awesome. Okay, I've seen a few, but two caught my attention, I guess. The first one, and it shouldn't, I suppose, was Andor, the next Star Wars series.
You get disappointed in all of these series.
Why, yeah. Okay, so yeah, exactly. The thing is, I was racking my shotgun and getting ready to unload on this with both barrels until I saw one name, Tony Gilroy. He is the creator of that series, and he wrote the Bourne trilogy, and he also wrote and directed Michael Clayton. With
I love that movie.
Yes, it's one of my favorite movies, maybe top 20, honestly. That movie is so tight. Not a second is wasted. It is amazing. I love that movie. It's fantastic. And as I said, I was getting ready to crap all over the trailer and the series. But as soon as I saw Tony Gilroy, I was like, oh, okay, let's wait and see.
Give it a chance.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so when's this coming out?
September 9th. I think it's a little...
September 21st. I just pulled it up.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, so trailer. Nick, do you have another one?
Yes, I'm going to talk about Olivia Wilde's third movie, Don't Worry, Darling. So this is her third one after Booksmart and Wake Up. And she's a great actress in her own right. And I think might even be an even better director. She's really come a long way in the last few years. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this trailer was it's Harry Styles' kind of like big first role, or one of the first ones he's going to be like a lead actor. And so it kind of piqued my interest. And it looked really interesting. It kind of has this like Inception sort of vibe to it. And it just seems like it really lends itself well. It's something about like, I guess based on trailer, it takes place in the 1950s. It's about a couple who lives in this like experimental community that's kind of doing some weird things. And I don't know too much just based on the trailer, but it seems like there's something underneath that's, kind of sinister or not quite what it seems.
Like a Stepford Wives-ish, kind of?
Kinda.
Okay.
It sort of seemed like it kind of had that vibe to it. Like, it seems like it's definitely more like a thriller. Almost kind of like The Matrix, maybe? Like, I don't know, something where it's like multiverse. I don't know. It just looked very intriguing. And I know Harry Styles is like one of the biggest stars in the world right now. So it just seemed like it could be a really great movie. Her first two movies were really good. So I have high expectations. And that's going to be on HBO Max in mid-October, because they had a thing where during the pandemic they would release the movies in theaters and HBO Max at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're waiting 45 days at least.
Back to normal.
Sometimes less, sometimes more.
Okay.
So I think like mid-October it'll be out on that channel.
So what's the name again?
Don't Worry, Darling.
Okay. Awesome. John, what do you have?
I'm going to go with The Menu.
I think I saw the trailer for that one, yes.
Yeah, the trailer is bonkers to me because
yes.
it feels like, first starting off, it feels like maybe it's going to be a romance, and it's a couple like at a restaurant, fancy, high-end restaurant. But then the movie seems to go more and talking about the food, and you think, oh, maybe it might be a drama, but then it switches and it's, okay, there's comedy, there's horror, what is going on here? But like what Nick was saying about... sorry, Nick, the name of your movie again?
Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't Worry, Darlings. Yes, like that when he said there was something sinister underneath, there's definitely something sinister underneath what's happening at this high-end restaurant. I don't know if it's hunting humans, cannibalism, or what's going on, but it looks like it could be intense. It's got Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, and Ray Fiennes in it, so it looks like it should be really good.
And when I saw that trailer, I saw it a while ago, but it reminded me of another movie that I would recommend as well. It's called The Invitation.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I almost put this trailer down, Patrick.
Nice.
Yes, yeah. That one's out now in theaters.
Oh, the movie is a few years old, I think.
Oh, it was just playing in Vancouver when I was there this week.
Okay, so maybe we are not talking about the same. Okay, the one I'm talking about is from 2015.
Oh, okay.
It stars Logan Marshall Green, the guy who looks a little bit like Tom Hardy. He was in Prometheus.
Okay.
And Upgrade, if you saw that movie. Upgrade, another good movie, good science fiction movie.
Upgrade, I did not see. No.
Okay, so check it out. It's good.
Yeah, I'm talking about a new movie.
Yes, I look it up. Yes, but no, yeah, the 2015, The Invitation. Check it out. It's really good.
Okay.
And I cannot say anything about the 2022, The Invitation. I know nothing about it.
Oh, I've seen the one you're talking about. The Invitation.
Okay.
Yeah, I just pulled up the 2015. I've actually seen this, and yes, it is great. It is great. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I guess it's my turn, I guess. Okay, so well, I mean, you probably both saw the trailers for the new Lord of the Rings series.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Amazon, I think. And the early reviews seem to be surprisingly positive because from the trailers I've seen, I didn't like at all because I had the impression that it was a bunch of disconnected scenes with like a bunch of nobodies we know nothing about, and like it felt like a demo reel. Yeah, it looked like a demo reel for a special effects company. That's what it looked like. So yeah, the trailers looked like shit. I had no interest, but the early reviews were so positive that now I'm maybe, but
you might give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure because after I checked out after the first 3 Lord of the Rings movies, like the Hobbit trilogy. I didn't care for, didn't watch, so might not be for me after all. So I was curious to see what you guys think.
I actually haven't seen those trailers, but if I could comment just briefly there on your concerns about the demo reel look. Mm-hmm. Going back to She-Hulk, the trailers that first came out of that, the CGI wasn't fully done, and it looked terrible. And to the point where I thought, I'm not going to be able to let go of this.
Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. But watching the show, 2 things have happened. One, they have improved the CGI between the trailer and the show. Are there times when it's not perfect? Yes, but the story is funny and engaging enough where I can let it go. So maybe the same thing will happen with that Amazon series.
Well, I mean, it looked good, but it looked so disconnected. Like it was a bunch of pretty scenes, and like, okay, so yeah, why should I care about those people?
Right.
And
okay. Gotcha.
The trailers didn't give me an answer. So it's not the fault of the production. It's the fault of whoever cut that trailer.
That's why trailers are such crapshoots sometimes, because there could be really bad trailers for great movies, and then there could be like really good trailers for shitty movies.
Absolutely.
Or they say like everything in the 2 minutes, and it's like, well, why do I have to bother seeing it then?
Also that, yes.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Can I ask you a question though about the Lord of the Rings series that's going to be on Amazon? Sure. Peter Jackson's not involved, right?
As far as I know, he is not. As far as I know.
That's what really intrigues me because he did such a masterful job adapting, especially the original trilogy. Yes. The Hobbit movies are kind of crappy. They're like fine, like they're hit or miss for me, but like the original like ones are so darn great. And I don't know, like I'm just curious what they do with this series because it's pretty iconic.
Yes. I mean, I'm really not an expert on Tolkien, far from it, but I did see something funny on Twitter. It was someone mentioned, okay, so now Peter Jackson needs to explain why Black people disappeared between Rings of Power and Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Okay. So for those who lived in a cave and didn't see the trailers, we have Black people in the Rings of Power series,
right? And
they were not in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. So it's like it was kind of funny. Okay. So it's my turn, I guess, or
well, that was yours, right?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Yes. Okay, so yeah, so it's back to Nick, I guess. Sorry.
No worries. I did want to talk about the movie Bros that's coming out at the end of the month. That's with Billy Eichner, and it's going to be produced by Judd Apatow, and it's directed by Nicholas Stroller. The reason why I mentioned this because I wrote a thesis that pretty much focused on Apatow's movies when I was in grad school, so I feel like I have such an investment to see all of his movies at some point. But Stroller directed one of my favorite movies, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he also did like Neighbors and The 5 Year Engagement and Get Him to the Greek. And yeah, this is a really important movie on so many levels because it's the first, I believe, Apatow movie to focus on a gay couple, and I believe it has an all LGBTQ plus cast, if I'm not mistaken. I guess
I've heard the same. Yeah.
so it's really really important on so many levels. So that's why I mentioned this movie because I feel like it's one of those movies that I think it's kind of going to be a big deal when it comes out. Like the same way that kind of earlier summer, like Fire Island, which was another movie of like a similar vein. It kind of made a really big impact when it came out, like in terms of like a lot of buzz. So yeah, and I'm really curious how this movie performs and how it turns out because I think there's so many talented people involved in it that I don't know, it just seems really fun. It seemed funny and it also seems like a game changer, I think, for the romantic comedy, which is, I'll admit, because I'm comfortable enough to say it's one of my favorite genres because it's so formulaic, but I don't know, like it's so rare though that it breathes new life into it. And I feel like this movie has that potential.
The trailer looked good. I'm a little skeptical about Billy Eichner being able to pull off the leading man. I'm not a huge
Yeah.
fan, but I mean, he seems like a nice person. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. I'm going to have an open mind and seeing if he can pull it off. But
It's funny you mentioned that, Mutford, because I thought the same thing too, because he seems like the perfect supported actor or like someone you could take in small doses.
yeah,
But like, because even like Billy on the Streets, which is a hilarious show, I think I could only do a little bit at a time. Like, I
yeah,
don't think I could like binge watch that.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm really curious about Bros though, but I feel like it's going to be a big deal when it comes out at the end of the month.
All right. John, what do you have?
That's it for me with trailers.
Okay. Me, I would mention, I saw it for the first time today. Actually, there is a series on Showtime. I don't know the exact date. I think it will be mid-September. It is starring John Bernthal. It is American Gigolo. I mean, yeah, you know the movie from Paul Schrader with Richard Gere, but this time it is a TV series. And from the trailer has me interested.
He's
And
everywhere these days. Hey,
yes, but it's good because he is always good.
he is. Yeah.
And no, yeah, I don't know anything else about it. I didn't look it up. I don't know who is involved, but the trailer has me intrigued. So,
I'm sure he performed some really great public services.
well, no doubt. No doubt. So yeah, it's because I remember. I think there is. They use a few lines from the movie in the TV series in the trailer. So yeah, let's see. Let's see how it goes. I'll keep my eyes open. Could be good. Okay, so we can conclude the last part of the episode. Question, like last time, different question, obviously. The question this time was, which movie was the best example of, quote unquote, worse than the sum of its parts? All right. So you guys had a day or two to think about it. Nick, what do you have in mind?
So the first movie that I thought of when you asked us this question was the movie House of Gucci that came out last year.
Oh yeah, good shout.
Oh my god. So that's a movie that like I was so excited when it was announced that it was going to get made because Ridley Scott is one of my favorite filmmakers and it has such an incredible cast like with Adam Driver and Lady Gaga and Al Pacino. I can't stand Jared Leto, so we won't even like give him praise. But anyway, for such a movie that's so interesting about these historical figures that they're being depicted, it's just so tedious and dull and overlong and just oh my god, like I wanted to like this movie and then almost fell asleep like twice watching it, which for me that's really bad because I'm a very active movie watcher, and like it takes a lot for me to doze off. But House of Gucci,
When I saw the trailer for that movie for the first time, I thought it was an SNL skit
yes,
because they looked so grotesque. I was like, what the fuck is this? I haven't seen it. I probably never will. And I'm okay
So,
with that.
I'm with you, Patrick.
I'll give you a really funny story really fast about House of Gucci too. I didn't have to pay for it because my library that I work for, they had digital copies that you get sometimes with the movies. And one of my friends who I work with was like, oh, here. And I'm like, oh, yes, thank you. And then I watched it with my mom and we were both like be on board with it. And we love mafia movies. We love like, we're Italian. So like we have like an interest in those types of movies. And good God, it was just terrible. It's bad when the soundtrack is the best part because it has like, the Eurythmics, like Here Comes the Rain Again, and it has New Order, and it has a pretty great soundtrack. But I think that's bad when that's like the best thing about a movie with Al Pacino and Lady Gaga. And I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Al Pacino is in that. Yeah, that's true. Forgot about that. Okay. Thank you for confirming my bias that I shouldn't bother with that movie. Awesome.
That's why I'm here.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. John, what do you have?
I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to say the entire film catalog of Wes Anderson.
Oh, shit. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Whoa.
Like, for real.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
Right?
Piping hot.
Yeah, I told you he'd appear later in the show. Always a great cast. Stylistically, I think he does interesting things. But man, I don't find his movies funny. I find them boring or pretentious. And every time a new one comes out, people will either say, if you don't typically like Wes Anderson, this movie is the one you should watch. And I'll try it and nope, still don't like it. Or people will say, this is the most Wes Anderson movie ever. And then I just avoid it altogether at this point. Because I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and now I don't even try.
So, Mutford, as someone who attended film school and had friends and like peers who adored Wes Anderson, I'll admit to you, and this is like a coming out party.
Yeah.
Not like his movies much either. He's the perfect example of style over substance.
Yes.
And like his movies are like one of those things where I do like some of his movies. Like I think Royal Tenenbaums is excellent. I think
if I had to pick one, Nick, that I can tolerate, it would. There were moments in that one that I found very funny.
Even Rushmore, like he made really good movies, but the problem is that it's okay. I'm gonna go off on a tangent because my passion for my dislike for Wes Anderson's so strong. It's pretentious hipster bullshit that tries to masquerade as art, and it's basically wet dream to get into the Criterion collection. Like every Wes Anderson movie, I think except the new one that came out, the French Dispatch, is all I think in the Criterion collection at this point. So it's just like he makes something, and it's just like, psh, like of course, like they like everyone just eats it up, and it's just oh my god. Like I like some of his movies, but good god, he is style over substance.
Yes,
the perfect definition.
Thank you. Phew.
No, yeah, I completely see where you're coming from. I mean, I liked most of them. But some I didn't really care for. But I think my favorite might have been The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I completely understand your take. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but I completely understand. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I just wish sometimes, like, when people like a director, they don't have, like, this instant, like, everything he does is amazing. And I feel like...
Well, yeah, they get these blinders. Mm-hmm. They cannot do no wrong.
Yeah.
I could do no wrong. No, I'm kidding. I do a lot of wrong. No, like, I love Scorsese. Scorsese's my favorite director of all time, like, personally. But he's made crappy movies. Like, and I could put that fandom aside and say, you know...
Yeah, he's had a few misses, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like the people that I know that really like Wes Anderson, they, like, adore him, and they like point to him as like the last modern auteur. Like, you know what that is? Like an auteur who's kind of like someone who has these distinctive style choices and narrative themes. And I don't know. Like, he's just someone that irks me because it feels like we're trying to pretend sometimes we're being smart and cool when we're really just dorks. I don't know.
He is, I think, he could be the epitome of trying too hard.
Yes.
Yes.
You know?
It's style over substance. I'm telling
Yes.
you, like, he's just one of those like filmmakers where like I really try to like his movies more, but I find them very hit or miss. And I don't know. I just wish I got all the hype, but maybe I'm not as smart as I think I should be with movies.
That's all right. Don't worry about that.
You're a genius, Nick.
No, I am
You're good.
not. Like, I want my MacArthur grant now.
Okay, so yeah, my entry for that category would be we have a Ridley Scott double. Yes,
What?
The Counselor.
Oh my God, I literally talked to a coworker about this movie today. Like, that's so weird.
Okay, from 2013, all-star cast: Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, Javier Bardem, Brad Pitt, and I'm forgetting a couple. Directed by Ridley Scott, of course, and the screenplay was by Cormac McCarthy.
Mhm.
It was his first screenplay, and I think that was the biggest mistake right there because this movie is so talky and meandering, and it doesn't go anywhere. And some of the characters. Okay, I don't care if this is Spoiler City. This movie is shit. Everybody should avoid it. Cameron Diaz is so fucking vile in this movie. It made me hate the entire thing. Fuck. Jesus, I hated that movie.
Tell us how you feel, Patrick.
I hated that movie. And again, I caught it on IPTV a few days ago, and I remembered how much I hated it. And it's a shame because visually, I remember being really good. Like, it pops at you. Some scenes look awesome, and some sequences work really well, but the entire thing, it gets talky, and all that talking bogs the entire movie down. And I think it could have been good, but I think the mistake there was have no one, proofreading McCarthy and telling him, you should cut that crap down to a couple seconds instead of 10 minutes.
You want to be that person to tell him?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think so.
Yeah. And he is like, 90 years old now, so he would probably tell you to fuck off and let me do my thing.
Oh, I love his novels so much.
Well, yeah, exactly that. The thing, and his previous adaptations like The Road, No Country for Old Men, and I'm sure there are more. They were amazing, but that movie was such a fucking misfire. It's almost beyond comprehension how shitty it is when you consider everyone who was involved in it.
I gotta rewatch it because I feel like we had like this whole discussion, me and then my coworker, and I was like, now that ironically you mentioned this movie on the same day, now it's like,
did you guys like it?
I thought it was okay. I didn't like hate it as much,
Okay.
but I felt like, see, I'm biased because I love Michael Fassbender. Like,
So do I.
One of the best actors, like Hunger.
He's awesome.
What is that movie? Fish Tank. Like, he's incredible. Like,
Yes.
I think he's an awesome actor. I remember it being okay, but like it disappointed me with everyone who was involved, I guess.
Yes, and well, yeah, I don't know.
Can I give you another movie of a person that like I find extremely overrated? And,
Knock yourself out, Nick.
Okay, so I saw this in theaters with a friend when it came out in 2010, and it was the sequel to Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
but I didn't see it.
I didn't see it, but
Okay,
I know
it's terrible. It's horrendous. Like, it's one of those movies where like Shia LaDouche, as I'm going to call him, not Shia LaBeouf, Shia LaDouche. He's just like I don't know. He just annoys the shit out of me, and like the whole thing with the paper bag, and I'm not famous anymore. It's like Cry Me a River, and I don't know. He's a terrible person on so many levels. But anyway, Oliver Stone sequel to his movie Wall Street. I mean, it's always good to see Michael Douglas. I think he's a great actor in his own right. I think he's actually somewhat underrated because I think he gets that, comparison to his father and so on. But like, do we really need another Wall Street movie in the financial crisis of 2008? I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And I find Oliver Stone to be such a tedious, pretentious, just self-absorbed filmmaker on so many levels, and someone who feels so self-important. And like, it irks me because I just I like some of his movies, but then there's some that just completely turned me off. And
the second half of his career, I completely agree. But his first movies were excellent. But
yes,
you're right, though. He kind of got stuck in his own head or up his own ass. It depends on your versions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
he's
For
one
sure.
of those filmmakers that's really weird to me because I was having a conversation with someone about this yesterday, and it's like he's so stuck in the 80s and 90s. Like he was everywhere in terms of like movies like JFK and Platoon and Death Report Killers and Wall Street and Born on the 4th of July. And these are famous movies, but no one ever talks about Oliver Stone now. And like I don't know, like he doesn't have that like ubiquity or that relevance anymore. Like someone like Tarantino, like 30 years later, people still talk about Tarantino's movie. Or like who's someone else I could think of? Like Martin Scorsese. I don't know. These are like titans, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like he doesn't have that either. And this movie rubbed me the wrong way. And it felt so self-important. It was trying to make this statement about the Wall Street culture and the financial crisis bubble. This movie. I can't.
I think Oliver Stone got involved too much with his own political opinions.
Yes.
And he started mouthing off about that. And I think he kind of sank him, maybe. And also, as you said, he stopped directing, I suppose. Or maybe he did a couple of things for TV, but I'm not sure.
He did like more TV in the 21st century. Like he would do things for like Showtime. And it was always like those conspiracy theory bullshit kind of shows. And you're just like, come on, Oliver. But like he is talented. Like he wrote the screenplay for like Midnight Express, which is an excellent movie, and he won an Oscar for it.
Yes.
And he did so much like producing, writing, even beyond his own directorial efforts. But Wall Street Never Sleeps, or Money Never Sleeps. It could go to sleep forever because it was just I hate that movie.
Went to sleep watching it. All right, so okay.
I wish.
Yeah, you could have saved yourself some trauma. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it. That's it for us. Do you guys have anything else in mind? So, all right. So, Nick, where can we reach you online?
So you can follow me at Nick D. Bambach, and you can listen to my podcast, Rock in Retrospect. John Mutford's been a guest on that podcast a few times.
Ooh.
And you can reach me there at Rock and Retropod. We're also on Instagram. So, I'm trying to learn how to do that. Mutford's like kind of a master and at his Instagram posts. So I'm trying to get up to his level. And of course, Patrick has a really great account too. And because we talked about movies so much, I'll just kind of plug my Letterboxd account where I write movie reviews as well. So my username is ND Bambach.
All right, fantastic.
And it's a picture of my dog Oliver, who's sleeping on a pillow. So it's him watching a movie. So,
and of course, you named him after Oliver Stone, of course.
Oh, like I saw Oliver Stone's face, and then I saw my dog Oliver, and I was like,
Ringers, yeah,
Head Ringers. Yes, I actually named him after Oliver and Company because that's one of my favorite Disney movies as a kid. So it's just stuck.
Nice. John, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Book Mindset. So BOOKMINESET.
All right. Awesome. So thank you guys again for being here tonight. And thank you everyone for listening. And we will catch you on the next one. Thanks.